You know, I'm a sucker for pretty beautiful, cute games that are well illustrated and well produced. And that is exactly the impression I got when I saw Witchcraft Moonlight Magic at Spiel in 2024. I bought it and I have played it. Now, is this game going to be worth the amount of money that you're going to have to pay to get your hands on it? So play we all. Witchcraft is a set collection game in which 2 to 6 players are going to be playing witches, trying to get spell components to create their spells and get magic points. The first player to get 20 magic points wins the game. As simple as that. Before I dive into how it plays and what the components look like, let me take a look at the box. I have to say the illustration in the front is absolutely gorgeous. It really is so cute, very thematic, and it looks fantastic. I really like the color palette, it's very pleasing. And in the back we get a little bit of how the game is set up, another cute illustration, and both in German and English descriptions of what we are going to be able to find inside the box. The material is actually very good. The box has been laminated and it is pretty thick, and inside of course we're going to be finding the rules and the cardboard insert for this game. Talking about the rules, let's take a look at them just so you can see how light is this game. It's a pamphlet. Basically the rules are a pamphlet. It doesn't have an awful lot. So the setup is, again, absolutely beautiful. The whole thing has been laid out very nicely. I like that they have chosen to do it in a pretty much A4 size sheet of paper rather than a booklet, because that's, you know, cheaper and simpler to do, but everything is where it should be. Double-sided, so we get a game idea with the game setup, how it plays, what the end of game is, and then on this side we get what the familiars do, what the witches do, and the modification for 2-player gameplay. And that is it. So having said that, why don't we take a look at what this game is actually like on the table. So this is what it looks like once the game has been set up. Of course, you don't need to have the rules in here if you don't want to, and these are going to be given to the players. The players are going to choose each one of them one witch, and there are 6 witches to choose from, 7 if you also bought the expansion. Now, each witch is going to have an ability or a something special that they do. Like, for instance, the Curious, you start the game with 1 additionally randomly drawn spell, or the Unyielding, you start the game with 1 randomly drawn ingredient and you get 1 point of magic, so on and so forth, and we get again 6 of them. The Brave, by the way, is the first player witch, so that's one to keep in mind. Each player witch is going to get also 2 cards, which are the spells that are specifically for that witch. Remember that you can only have a maximum of 3 spells. The way the game plays is that each player is going to have a number of spells, and we're going to need to get components or different spells from the market. So we fill up the market with 9 cards, and cards can have different types of ingredients. There you go. Or they can also have different spells. Here to the left of the board we get 3 different decks. These are the basic spells. These are the familiars. We have a number of familiars, and each one is going to give us an ability that we can play. We can only have a maximum of 2 familiars, and if we want to have another one, then we need to leave. We need to let another familiar go. And a big, massive deck of components and spells. We also get a number of action cards that will remind us what is it that we can do. We can buy cards on each round. We can do a number of actions. We can buy cards like take a familiar or 1 gem. These little gems are going to be important, and I will explain why in a second. We can take a basic spell and 1 gem, or crystal as they call them. Or you can take 2 crystals, or you can play your familiar action. And you can buy up to, when you buy cards, you can buy up to 3 cards from the market. However, remember, they must be adjacent, and that is either horizontally or vertically, but not diagonally. What does this mean? It means that, say for example, that I have, I don't know, this spell. This spell requires these 3 components, and it will give me 3 magic points. So what we need to do is to gather the spells buying from the market. Having said that, there is a cute thing about this game, and is that you're gonna have to put one of these gems on a card that you do not wish to buy if it doesn't already have a gem on top of it. So let's say that because of the ingredients that I need for this, I am going to get this row here, because I would get the mushrooms, the moths, and this lavender, which I don't need, but it could be useful for later. So I take these 3, but I need to put 3 gems, and every player is going to get a number of gems at the beginning of the game, on cards that have no gems on them. Why is this very cute? Because the next player that gets cards from the market, they could choose to get these 3 cards, and they would get also the gems. So they could pay for more cards later on if necessary, which is good because you're basically enabling other players to get some gems. And that's it, that's how it plays. The animals, as we said, the familiars, they're going to have a number of abilities that you can play during your turn, and that's how the game plays. It doesn't have a lot more to it than that. Is it a fun game? Well, if you play only 3 people, not particularly, to be perfectly honest with you. It is very cute, it is very simple, it plays very quickly, but for 3 players alone, we were just gathering cards. There was no challenge to it. There was barely any player interaction. There was no way that we would get short of gems. We didn't mess up other players long enough to give us an advantage. We couldn't find a tactic to use. So as a 3-player game, it wasn't very satisfying. I can imagine if you play the 6 people, it would be a little bit more interesting, because then you can run out of gems very easily. You would be doing more skills. You would be running out of familiars that may be exactly what you want in order to win the game. It could be a little bit better. If you buy this game, I would recommend it for young people, because it is such an easy game to learn to play. If you want some deep playing, forget it. This game is never going to give you that. Ever. It's just not prepared for that kind of gameplay. But if you want something light, something cute, something easy that you can play anywhere, then this may scratch that itch, especially if you want to play with children. But yeah, this game needs big numbers to be a little bit more interesting. On 3 players, I really cannot recommend it. We didn't have a great time playing it. It was, yeah, just getting cards, and let's hope to get to 20 quickly so we can go away. That was it. So, but yeah, 6 players, it may be better. I really hoped I was going to love this game because it looks so good. But unfortunately, this would be a between 4 and 6 for me. It's not groundbreaking game. If you have already played it and you think that I'm missing out on something and that's why I didn't like it, please let me know, because I would love to love this game. But right now I can't, and I need reasons. So leave me your comments down there. Thank you very much indeed for being there. So play wheel.